Well, hello, Craftin' Buddies. It's Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin', coming to you on Sunday, June 29th. It's not quite 11:30 p.m. here in Wisconsin, so I'm not as late as I am sometimes, but not as early as I wanted to be. So let me get my other device up here so I can see if anybody joins me live, which is always fun when people interact and comment. And sometimes even collaborate with me while we craft. Let me get my cable out of the way. I had an issue not too awful long ago where my battery power was running out and my video kind of froze and I couldn't turn, well, it didn't really freeze, it just wouldn't stop. So let's see, I think I kind of have it out of the way. So I'm going to use this Planted Paradise set tonight. It's just a stamp set. I've had it for quite some time. It was in our last catalog, the 24 to 25 annual catalog. And I was looking for something else, came across this and thought, oh my goodness, I have never ever used this. And it is currently on the last chance list. I think it started at $22 and now it's marked down to $17.60. And there's just a ton of images here. And they are designed so that you can stamp on either side of the stamp. And I haven't tried this with a lot of the stamps, but I did actually try it with one of the leaves here. So when you see a stamp set where it has a clear image with some texture and then it has a grayed image, that means when you flip it over, it's kind of lined up to look kind of abstract. It's not going to be an exact lineup because you can kind of see that, you know, they won't quite match, but they're designed to kind of enhance that original image. All right, so I'm going to do that with some of these leaves. I don't remember all of the ones that I pulled out of here, but I'm actually casing a card that's in, it shows up online. And hang on just a second. I want to pull over my computer. I have it on a little cart here. So I can kind of keep an eye on the sample and we'll go from there. So I thought I would just use this little sentiment here, Grateful for You, from Layers of Beauty. This might be on a last chance list as well. I don't remember. But it's currently still available. It's in the online store. Now I have already stamped that just to save a little bit of time. I know sometimes it gets a little late when we do these. So I'm just going to cut these into a couple of little banners. And how I do that so that it looks symmetrical is I will take my piece and I will put a snip in the middle. Now these I actually measured and I did it on my trimmer just because it was easier. And then I will go from a corner up to the edge of that snip and then from the other corner up to the snip. And then you get a nice even banner or flagged end or what, however you want to call it. All right, so there's those. I'm not sure which one I want to use, so I thought I would just stamp both of those. And then the other thing that I did was I stamped a few of the pots on here. So I stamped this one, and you can tell these are only at 60% on here. So they're a lot bigger than what the image shows. So here's the image on the case, and there's what it really is. So these are just a little over half as big as what it'll normally stamp. So you've got a lot of nice stamps in here. So I did this pot, I did this pot, and then I did this pot twice. So I had done it in Calypso Coral, kind of by mistake, because I wanted it to be a kind of a complementary color. So then I took my Secret Sea and did blue because those go together. But I also stamped that on top of the Calypso Coral, and that's what we got. It's kind of a brownish terracotta-ish kind of color. So Let me move that out of the way. So that's what I ended up with those pots. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not. But I also then have a card base. And I'm just using my thick basic white. So I've got it at 8.5. This is 5.5. It's scored in a 4.25. And I do my scoring before I cut it at 5.5. So when I have my full sheet of cardstock, I score it down the middle at 4.25, and then I turn it and cut it at my 5.5, and I end up with 2 card bases. So I'm ready for my current card and either to make a second one of the same design or something different. And then I pulled in this piece of designer series paper, and that is from the Celebratory Sips 12 by 12 designer series paper. I've shown this before, but I'm actually using the B side from one of the floral sheets. And I just have that cut to 4.25 by 5.5. So it is going to fill up the entire front of my card. That's how the sample that I'm casing from Stampin' Up was done. And let's go ahead and burnish this. And then we're going to go ahead and attach the DSP right away. And I like to use my liquid multi-purpose glue because that way I have a little bit of wiggle room if I don't have it on quite straight. So I can just kind of slide it into place before I press it down all the way. And I just use a very thin layer. I know a lot of people don't like the liquid glue because they say it's messy or it gets all over their fingers. And I generally don't have too much trouble with it, and I do like the wiggle room that you get. But if you're having a lot of glue issues, like this is a little long, so I could have had some glue ooze out there. But if you are having some issues with glue getting on your fingers or seeping out the edges of your card, it might be because you're using too thick a layer of glue. All right, so there is the front of our card. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start doing just some random stamping. So I'm going to fussy cut a couple of these. I fussy cut these so you didn't really have to watch me struggle with fussy cutting. I'm not a real big fan of fussy cutting. It's not hard, it's just something that doesn't excite me. I would rather have a die or a punch because it's just easier. But I thought to have a little depth or texture to the card, I could have some of these fussy cut. Just do that little edge there too. And this is where I use the stamp on both sides. Once with Old Olive, and then when I did the back of the stamp, I used the Lemon Lime Twist. So let's try to do this quickly because I know fussy cutting is boring. I have some gals that stamp with me that say they find it very relaxing to fussy cut. I am not one of those. I do not find it particularly relaxing. It's not stressful to me, but it's not relaxing. And then we'll just do this last one. So this is just going to be kind of a casual card. You could use it for giving to a friend with the sentiment that I have, grateful for you. You know, it could be a thank you card for somebody or just appreciation for a friend. So, on the front of my card, I am not exactly sure how much real estate I want to give the piece that I'm going to have the stamping on. So this is going to be just accent piece here. And the focal points are are going to go here. So if we go ahead and set these pots here, and I don't know if I want to use, I think I'm just going to use the one with the secret C. These are going to go in the pots, and we are going to stamp some. And I think if we do, pretty much everything is going to be kind of low. So let's go ahead and maybe put these here, because if we have this, figure this piece is probably going to be about that long. So let's go ahead and just kind of cut this. We'll go 3.5. We'll bring in that trimmer. We'll do 3.5. That should be good. I'm not going to attach that yet because we have a lot of stamping to do. All right. Well, not a lot. It should go pretty quick. But if we, this is how it's going to look. All right, so we'll have this here. Let's go ahead with some old olive for these. And I'm going to leave this in here a little bit more so maybe you can see that. This is what I'm using, the Planted Paradise. And I can get rid of some of these extra things because my space is kind of limited. So if we're going to do something like this, we'll have this up on dimensionals. So let's go ahead and add those. I'm not going to take the backing or stick them on yet, but at least I'll be able to see kind of how it looks. So that'll go there. So let's do some old olive. And we're going to put that right about here. All right, so that'll go there. Aren't those cute leaves? I think they're great. And then let's do, I'm peeking at my picture from time to time. We're going to do, this is probably like an aloe plant, maybe. We're going to do some of that. And then we're going to take these and we're going to turn them over so we can get some more color in there. And we're going to use Lemon Lime Twist. And just kind of randomly put them there. So let me open up my Lemon Lime Twist and you can see how this is going to work. So this is the textured side that's got, I'm sorry, this is the flat side and the textured side now I've buried. So this should be solid. And you won't see any stripes in there. Oh, one of these I put on backwards. All right, so this one. That's what I get for not paying attention. That's all right. We'll put another one on there. Maybe. Clean it off. Guess that's an important element, is making sure that your stamp is not wet when you try to put it on the block. So let's do that. Whoops. All right, so that'll go there. That'll go there, and then we're gonna put some more. I think we'll need Lemon Lime Twist and the old olive. We're gonna use some Darling Duckling and add some foliage here. So let's just put some of those on here. And I think I'm going to stamp off a little bit. That'll be good, I think. That'll work. And let's find some more foliage. I thought there was, here we go. Let's put the darling duckling away. I should have made a prototype of this one just because there's so many pieces. I mean, it goes pretty quickly. And then we're going to put these on here too. So I think that works. And then the only other thing I have is a little butterfly here. Close up my inks. And I think we'll use the Calypso Coral for the little butterfly. And we'll put her right where I made a little smudge here. And I think my Calypso Coral needs to be re-inked. So I was able to line that up pretty good though. That's why I love the photopolymer stamps, because you can see through them. So now I think we're just down to attaching all of our goodies. And I'm not going to use that for this, but I'm going to save it because it might come in handy for another project. So I think we're done stamping. We can get rid of the piercing mat. And I like to use that when I'm using my photopolymer stamps just because it gives me a good base. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. I know I've got the dimensionals on there, but I'm going to put a couple of these right on the vase. And then this one I think we'll just let it sit there. That'll work. We'll put a little glue there, right on that layer. I don't know why I didn't use this when I first got it, because I'm sure I probably saw some samples and thought, oh, that's really a cute set. And I may have actually gotten it at Onstage as one of our prize control items. And that might be why I just hadn't really worked with it yet. Because you get other new things and it gets buried and I get disorganized and I forgot that I had it. So that's going to go under there. I thought about doing a little bit with my blending brush to add some color. Where's the darling duckling here? Like a little bit of sunshine or something maybe. And I didn't bring my blending brush for my darling duckling, so we'll go here with this. And I'm going to put this on dimensionals as well. And I could have done a couple of the aloe ones too and stamp them so that I could have fussy cut those as well, just to give it more dimension. But I think just with those there, I think that's probably enough. All right, so how cute is that? So again, this is a sample that Stampin' Up! Provided. So if you look up this Planted Paradise on the online store, you will see in they give you several screens where they'll show like a stamp, and if there's dies or a punch, they'll show all of the products that are associated with that. And this one has a picture now that's very similar to this. So I think I probably want to go with I think I might stamp that. Oh, there, that would work, huh? A little butterfly peeking out under there. And I think what I'll do is I'll stamp another butterfly, and after the video, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut it, and I'll put one on top of there as well. So I like to leave the tips of my flagged banners loose so that they can be flared up a little bit. And this, I think what I'm going to do is add some twine. Now we could actually add the twine around here. The sample actually shows twine around the top of the card. And it shows it with a bow. So let's take a look and see how that looks. Just have to feed some of that out of my package here. I'll put a little bow in here. We'll maybe put that so there we go. We'll put it so that the bow comes out under that little banner. Maybe if I can get this bow tied. Anybody else struggle with bows when you're trying to keep it tight around your card? I can usually do bows pretty well, except when I'm trying to make it go around a card like this, because then I'm trying to hold it so it'll be nice and snug. You can also, if you need to snug it up sometimes, you can just take a piece of tear and tape. Let me see if I can grab one. You can put a piece of tear and tape and you can cinch up some of the slack and then just put your tape down to hold it. I didn't really need it on this one, but at least you understand. You can see what I'm kind of talking about there. So that will go here. I'm going to make this shorter because I think it's a little too tall. And we'll see how this looks. I'll trim these off too while we're at it. And if that bow goes on top of there. What do you think? I think the twine needs to go up so the banner covers it all the way. So I might have cut my banner just a little too short. So let's use this one. I guess this was the one I was going to use. All right, we'll just trim a little bit off of here. Because I think that one I cut off just a little too much. All right. So let's put some glue here. And I'm just going to kind of put at the top because this layer underneath I want to be able to slide under it. But I want to put this on first so I can kind of see where it's going to end up. And with that liquid glue, I can kind of adjust where that sits, so that's good. And then what I can do is we'll put a little bit of glue under there maybe too, if those are flipping up too high. But I want to move this bow over just a little bit more. So let's take this off. I'm going to move that over just a little bit, just a smidge, because I'm not retying the bow. There, that'll be good. will work. And I think since I've got my tear and tape going here, I'm just going to use tear and tape on here. Hopefully that won't be a mistake. Hopefully I can get it lined up spot on the first try and not have to peel anything up. We'll see if I'm lucky. And I do like to burnish on my tear and tape. Just because I think it makes it stick to the cardstock a little bit better. We are almost done. There we go. Oh, my bow is loosening up anyway. Tuck that under there. Yeah, I kind of envisioned that to be up a little bit higher. All right, it's a struggle tonight. But I think it'll be worth it because it is cute. So let's get this straightened up here. Yes, it is definitely a struggle tonight. I was too busy trying to fix the bow that I forgot that I had the tear and tape on there. There we go. Whew. All right, so that butterfly is a little buried. So like I mentioned, I think what I'm going to do is stamp another butterfly. I will fussy cut it and put it on top of there. And I think I'm going to put just a couple little drops of glue under here. I probably should have waited to put that banner on. Sometimes it seems like a good idea when I'm doing it. And then after I've done it, it's like, yeah, that wasn't a good idea after all. But in the end, we get it there. So I am going to make another butterfly. I'm going to fussy cut that, and I'm going to put it on a dimensional, and you'll be able to see some of it peeking out there, and then you'll see the raised one. But I think it turned out really cute, actually. So this was, like I said, cased from the online store. When I look at the product, if I type in Planted Paradise, and you can see the stamp set, and then it shows all of the front and the back, what's in the stamp set. And then it shows a couple of samples, and this was one of them. So I think it turned out really cute. I might put a little bit of Wink of Stella on there, but I don't think I'm going to put any gems because there's a lot going on here with the foliage. So I'm happy with that. I mean, I could put some little gems in the flowers maybe, so I'll play with that. When I come up with my finished version, I will go ahead and take a picture and I will put it on my Facebook page as well, which is also Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. And if you have this set or are inspired to do something similar with something else you already have, go ahead and add a comment here and on my Facebook page. On my Facebook page, you can go ahead and add a picture as well. I love to see what people are creating. It's a good way for us to get more ideas, right? So thanks for stopping by, whether you're live or on the replay. And until next time, happy crafting.